Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Videomail for the week of May 6th, 2013. Welcome to the site for the new members and welcome back to the old. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in a video just like this one. Hush Bonsai, that's my beagle. But I need your question if I'm going to answer it, so please send your questions to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. It has been an insane month for us so far. We are getting ready for Collabs, which is our collaborative animation training program and production course going on this month. It is coming up fast. Today is actually the last day for registration. If you missed it, you haven't missed it yet, but I would suggest that you go check it out because the registration, it has to close today, otherwise we won't be able to get everything done and get everybody up to speed on what they have to do. We're going to be producing a short teaser or a trailer for a feature film. We picked the dopest project in the entire world. We appreciate all your support, and just check the Collabs page on Facebook and follow me here on KennyRoy.com, and I'll be giving you updates periodically how we're doing. So that is at collabs.arconics.com if you want more information or just want to see what we're up to. So I appreciate you checking that out. My goodness, it has, like I said, just been a crazy month. There's also some really exciting bids coming into the studio, and like always, we're working on projects all over the place. But I also have KennyRoy.com to keep me busy. Speaking of which, the Ask Videomail questions, it always kind of like dwindles out, the number of questions that I get in the summer, and then in the beginning of the new year. So January 1st, I get no questions. I'm not sure why that is. You would imagine that people are excited about New Year's resolutions and getting back into educating and really committing and hunkering down, but it doesn't work out that way. And also summer, maybe it's because people are outside and running around and enjoying the outdoors this summer, the really nice summer weather. I don't know why. But suffice it to say that I really do need those Ask Videomail questions. It's up to you what we look at here on the site. And it's not just for the registered members, it's for people on the free trial as well. I want you to see how easy it is to ask a question and get it answered here. I'm very excited about how things are going in terms of the industry and the awareness. I released kind of like a rant last week that was talking about the state of the VFX industry, and I had some really good responses. I'm probably going to do something like that, like weekly. Check that out on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook, and you'll be up to speed, up to date on that, and we'll have a lot of fun working together on those kinds of issues and talking about them and discussing them. We're not going to solve anything if we just just change our avatars to green and then sit back and wait for other people to do stuff. We have to actually act ourselves. So let's discuss that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate it when people come to me and send me an email or message me or do whatever and engage me on that level. So I am not Mr. No contact, don't talk to me anytime. I want to be approachable. So let's talk. Let's have a chat. This is a great question. I'm really excited about this question. It stars a Great Dane. I was one of the animators on Scooby-Doo 2, so this is near and dear to my heart. But let's check out the question, and I think you'll agree. Very good question. Thank you for sending that one in. The animating non-human characters lecture is sitting in the store right now for you guys to go check out if you want to hear a little bit about animating characters that are non-human. Now, it doesn't really actually specifically deal with things like dogs and cats. It's more how to anthropomorphize really all types of objects, living and non-living. That said, I feel a little bit of it is bears repeating here. The first thing I would say in terms of making it so that a dog, well in this case a dog, a Great Dane, is really taking on the human traits that you want it to, is to kind of identify what are the body language cues that you're hearing in the audio. Okay, so So when we talk about breaking down audio, what we try to do is we try to find those anchors, and we try to find those nonverbal cues, those nonverbal hints as to the energy of the scene, the movement of the scene, and what is going on. Okay, you can hear in somebody's voice in the audio when their voice is shaking, and you can explain that by means of making their body shake. So there's something that is physically showing up on screen, the audience can see, and they connect those things, the shakiness, to the body actually showing them that. You can get off track for your audience and lose them and lose the engagement if you show them if they hear too many things that they don't see. You can show them a few too many things that they don't hear, but you'll lose them if they hear something but they don't see it. Okay, so it's very sensitive that direction. So again, you can put more visuals, so more movement in that is not necessarily connected to an action. But if they hear something and it's not there and they don't see it, they get taken out really, really quickly. And that's pretty much the best advice that you can take for dialogue shots in general. So things like hitches, pops, stutters, clicks, breaths, exhales, cheek puffs, grinding, teeth clicking, growling, grunting, all those things, and I could go on and on and on. All those nonverbal things, stuttering, I stutter a lot. Big breaths like I just took. Every single one of those nonverbal sounds you need to put into the body. So that said, when you're animating a dog, for instance, for the human dialogue, well then the rule doesn't just all of a sudden go away. And that's one of the first things I see people drop, is they drop the anchors when they're animating a dog because, I don't know, for some reason there's just not the connection that they're made. Okay, one thing is let's take a specific example. If someone says something like, you're going to go, actually, no, let's listen to the audio together. So listen to this.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns.
All right, so at the end of the word truth, he goes, truth! That there's like an exhale and the TH at the end of truth, very strong. Okay, that said, that is an anchor. That is a nonverbal, it's an emphasis on the word that is not just the word itself, okay? You can't handle the truth, okay? That is a perfect thing, if I was doing it in a human character, a perfect thing to zero in on. And when it comes to that sound, really nail it with some animation. And remember to go too far. Animation is like fishing, right? You can't drop your hook in the water and push it to where it needs to go. You have to cast your reel over the fish and reel it in, okay? So that's exactly what I would do with this. I would find that anchor, the truth, and on the truth, I would actually do a little hit in the body. Maybe he would go rigid. Maybe he would resettle. Maybe his head would nod like that on the end of that word. Whatever it is, I would go too far. I would watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it until, and then I would just dial it down a little bit at a time until I found the right area. Okay, but definitely go too far. All right, so how does that translate into the dog? Well, dog needs to do the exact same thing. You need to have those anchors in the dog's body. You also need to cue in on the body language of the characters, okay? So when you find the energy of the scene, when it seems like, for instance, that it would be forced if the character was not moving, or it would seem silly and low energy if the character was standing still, or whatever the body language cues are, when you can clue into how that character's body is moving, then you need to translate that into a dog's body. So let's actually switch to the play blast that I was given for this shot, and I can show you just a few things on how to fix that. Okay, so take a look. Okay, so here is our Great Dane. Let's play again, and we'll listen to the audio and we'll watch this performance. Okay.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns.
Okay, let's watch one more time.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns.
Okay, so there's some strong parts in here, okay? He looks like he's stalking and looking very, very angrily at the person he's talking to, and it's almost like incredulous, like, you want answers, you think I'm entitled, right? So this is a very strong pose, and it really looks like he's kind of like zeroing in on the character. I would say it kind of gets a little bit off right here where he takes on this pose, because this doesn't seem, to me, doesn't seem exactly like the body language that we're hearing, like we're literally hearing in the audio. This doesn't seem like the body language. When I listen to this, I don't think of like the final standoff. All right, so this stalking and this angry approach that he's doing, I don't hear a final standoff. I hear a little bit more of a dismissive kind of a, he is declaring it, but he's not bracing himself. He's not steeling his nerves against the onslaught. This is the final say. Okay, so this might be a little bit too forward. This might be a little bit too like presentational, right? So instead of and when like we talk about in the animating non-human characters lecture, we kind of as an audience we look at different body parts to kind of like transpose our bodies into it. So if he goes like if he's so as straight as he is, okay, then this kind of looks like legs spread and like leaning forward, with the arms down, okay? Because the paws, if you look at the paws are kind of doubling as feet and arms, okay? Like in Cars, there's some brilliant shots that sort of go, they change what each part of the car is, like, and they go in and out, and you don't even realize it as it's happening, and it's beautiful. Sometimes the fenders are like shoulders, and a character will basically go like, I don't know, like that. Sometimes the fenders are hands, and they'll like, one of them will like nudge the other one, like, hey, look at that, and they'll nudge them. Sometimes the wheels are feet instead. Like, Mater, when he's kind of feeling shy or whatever, he'll kind of use his tires to like, I don't know, kind of like kick the ground and be like shy and kind of like, paw the ground a little bit, right? And this all happens within one shot, like it'll transition. And as an audience, we're starving for those cues to transpose our understanding of the non-human character's body and physiology to a human body language, okay? So again, back to our example here, this is very, very like, this is like him standing his ground, whereas where I feel is like, you can't handle the truth is kind of saying like, no, you can't handle the truth, you can't handle the truth, it's done, instead of like getting ready. It almost looks like he's like, preparing for the onslaught. This is, and it's support, my idea is slightly more supported by what happens next, which is he's, instead of steeling himself, bracing for that, that forwardness, and then the next line comes up, and he's very, very, very calm, okay? So he goes immediately to, son, we live in a world where blah, blah, blah. You don't go from this and then go, son, we live in a world where blah, blah, blah. You don't just like come out of that, right? He's dismissing him, and then he's like, what, I'm going to give you a little bit of the information. You can't handle the truth. Son, see how the transition is a little bit nicer? Instead of like, you can't handle the truth, all up in the face, and then like popping back into this explanation. If you make them dismissive from the beginning in that line, then it's kind of like, well, listen, here's the explanation as to why. And if I'm not mistaken, there's like one frame transition across the cut. Yeah, well, not one frame. Okay, so it's like 5 or 6 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 8 frames, and that's fine. 8 frames a little close to the cut, but it's a step key, so it's kind of like playing tricks on our eyes, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, I hope that makes it a little bit clear. So the idea is to always kind of make it, if you can, a very easy task for the audience to translate what they're seeing in the body of the character to a easily recognizable body language and what they're hearing in the audio. So I would listen to this a little bit closer, listen to it a few more times, and then decide, would he really, like, you know, like, you can't handle the truth, son, we blah 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 blah, right? That doesn't really seem as much as close to the as to, you know, and he can be really 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 angry, but the body language has to be like, no, you can't, like, the emphasis is not, you can't handle. What word is emphasized? Okay, and because there's a big difference here. He's not saying. It's almost as if the emphasis is on can't. Even though he's saying you can't handle the truth, it sounds like handle, right? It's almost as if he's more saying you can't. Like, so I'm dismissing it. You can't. I'm not going to do it. You can't handle the truth. So the body language needs to be more about you can't. You can't handle the truth. Okay? And almost actually, you know, if you marry them together, it's can't handle. You can't handle the truth. All right? I know that that's different than the emphasis in the audio itself, but you've got to think deeper and you've got to listen closely to how the line the line goes on after that. Okay, let's listen together one more time. I think you'll agree when you listen to it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Son, we live in a world that has walls.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So that's really the best advice I can give is to when you are listening to your audio, look for those anchors the same way you would with a like a biped, a human, where the breathing and the pops, clicks, stutters, whatever, over animate them, and then listen for the body language of the character and take that to the extreme so that the audience, when they're looking at it, can really, really pick up, you know, if a character kind of has a little bit of sway to them, like it really, you know, makes them feel like, oh, here, you know, they're kind of like nasty, you know, like grumpy pose or whatever. Or if they're really excited, you know, kind of like whatever this would be. Like you wouldn't do that with a dog. You wouldn't bring his paws up and go like that, but you might do it on the ground, and you might have him, like, you know, quickly and excitedly like paw the ground like that, something like that. My dog's excited. I bring my dog to work some days, and he's excited when I'm talking about dogs. He knows the word dog. So that's fantastic. I really, really, really want you to think about, mostly though, how you can move in and out of those body language cues, just like they do in Cars. In fact, rewatch Cars. As much as people felt like it was Pixar's first story flop, the animation on it is impeccable. And see if you can find the shot that has the most transitions or changes to what the parts of the car actually are. Like it goes from the feet to the shoulders to the eyebrows to the hands to the back to the feet or whatever. And I think you'll, if you pay attention really closely, I think you'll be surprised how much fun it can be to actually clue into this. What is it? All right, you want to say hi? Come here. This is Bonsai. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. This is Bonsai the Beagle. All right, Bonsai, you sit here. Stay. All right. Thanks a lot for the question. Please send more questions to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I hope you're getting a lot out of it as well. Good luck with your animation. And as always,